I get so mad, there's no control with me. My thoughts get so bad, I'm like, I might grab a bat, I don't know, my rap, my blood boils over like, oh God, here goes. I lost all feeling from my head to my toes. You said some shit that I can't let go, so just stay tuned for the rest of the show. So have you ever felt betrayed? Switches how you see things, realize something needs change. Cause I know you got me fucked up, let me show you what's up. Cause enough is enough. I'll take a face full of pavement just to make a statement. I know there's no turning back. Oh God, adrenaline wasted, so mad I can taste it. I know there's no turning back.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Heal the Ring podcast on the Sports JEDI channel. Salute to everyone watching along on all the different platforms, from our Twitter X machine to Kick, Truvo, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook group, Rumba. What's up, everyone? Let's ready to go. It's TNA tonight. Now, due to the Hurricane Helene, there was some cancellation with the taping. It was supposed to be in South Carolina. It was moved to Nashville. It was recorded. Well, they had recordings last night as well as tonight. I don't know what's going to air tonight on TNA, if they're going to show us yet last night's footage or they're going to give us the best of Bound for Glory. So we'll wait at the top of the hour. We'll see what it is. If it's a repeat of Bound for Glory, what we'll do is we'll turn this into a Bad Blood review. I'll give you my thoughts, my sights, and we'll have just a dialogue of anything, maybe a little fantasy booking for about an hour or so. We won't go long. If there is no new TNA footage, we know our own Heather, is in the building. So Miss Heather is in the building there live. She was there last night. We'll go all through that as we got the chat members in the building. Hassan, what's going on? Hey, what's going on? How you been? How are you? Hope you're doing well. Mr. Delgado, see you next Thursday. TNA Rest Woman versus Yeet Girl. Let's go. So salute everyone. I hope everyone's doing well on this Thursday. We're right around the corner for a weekend of great wrestling entertainment and action. Of course, starting hopefully tonight with a little bit of TNA from last night or the recordings. Plus, we got SmackDown tomorrow night. We got Bad Blood, PLE on Saturday. So a lot looking on there. Let's first talk about news and notes where everyone's talking about the big news. Close to over 900,000 watched the CW for the debut of NXT on the CW network. Great number, great job by the CW, the NXT kids, the group. What a job! Despite the fact that you had a vice president debate on at the same time, you also had the MLB playoffs starting. So, and when you have the MLB playoffs starting with a New York team, where there's a lot of eyeballs that will tend to gravitate towards the Mets and any New York team, for that number for NXT. And I know the world doesn't revolve around New York, we know that, but they are a major market that folks from not just in the New York area, but around the world will gravitate to watch the Mets. So for NXT to have that kind of number, over 900,000, that's a great job there. And I know some people want to talk it down, like, oh, wait for it for 3 weeks now when they return back to the Performance Center. I don't think that number is going to be so optimistically high. I say the contraire. Because when they get to the CW, when they return back to the Performance Center, when there's no other live sports, like, when once the World Series dies down or the Major League Baseball playoffs die down, if they're not on a Tuesday, and of course the presidential debate is up in arms and already done, then you're talking about now, not winter time. People stay in more. It gets darker. We're starting to see the sunset a little bit closer, or less sunlight. People will tend to be indoors more and want to watch more programming. I'm pretty sure the numbers for NXT is going to continue to stay around that 900,000 or possibly hitting the 1.2 million. Remember, this is nationally broadcast television. This is on every channel, every city, every state has a CW affiliate. And it's funny how I was listening to, and I always reference Busted Open because I like to listen to the wrestling podcast at times, to Sirius satellite radio. Sometimes I get frustrated a lot. Most of the lately, I've been getting frustrated with that program a lot because of their propaganda. But that's another story for another day. Where a lot of saying that they couldn't find the CW. People couldn't find it. It make it seem like they're rediscovering a Adam. Everyone knows where CW is. If you watch the Arrow series, if you watch Supergirl, if you watch, even if you have your local sporting teams, if you're having a major market, it's there. It's WPIX in New York. It's CW18 in Orlando, Florida, where I'm at. It's the CW. Everyone knows what it is. I love how people pretend like they want to act ignorant for certain things. For other things, they're not ignorant. They didn't show it here. Actually, they all showed it on the CW affiliate. They is if you said it wasn't on, is because you're in a different time zone. It's gonna be 8 Eastern, and it's gonna be 8 in your. If you're in the Pacific Coast, it's gonna be 8 o'clock Pacific time. If you're in the Mountain Time, it's gonna be 8 o'clock Mountain Time. It's nothing here that they're doing. They're not reinventing the wheel. They're not splitting the atom on my television. They're just putting it at 8 o'clock where you live in your time zone. Plain and simple. I don't get it why they made a big deal about it on Busted Open. Like, this, but at the end of the day, it had 900,000 views, and they did a good job. And also other news and notes. The competition, All Elite Wrestling, 680 views on their 5-year anniversary show, where everyone is planning a parade down Canyons of Heroes because they have their 5-year contract deal with TBS TNT. Good for them. Good for them. They get a TV deal where now the AEW lovers could stop posting about the TV deal, waiting for a TV deal. You have the TV deal now. Now, let's stop talking about the TV deal and go and support the product. Buy a ticket. Increase the viewership. Go and sit in the arenas. Don't I like how we had over 700,000 in NXT. It was a 8,000 seat arena, 8,000 plus, but they decided to show the one section that had tarps. Oh, they're struggling. Why? What do we get out of showing tarps? It's not fair. It doesn't look good when you show it on the other end. So let's just enjoy the wrestling, and definitely, and of course, let's see. Here we go. Asin says, "Are you ready for TNA's Road Bound for Glory?" I am, especially when they're going to announce their Hall of Fame inductees, possibly. I'm hoping that AJ Styles this year is an inductee and also a participant in Bound for Glory. I would love to see, personally, speaking of the TNA product, I would love to see AJ Styles allowed a wrestling match with Frankie Kazarian. If you allow me that, the king of NXT versus you could say the franchise of NXT NXT TNA, excuse me, with TNA with Styles, Kazarian. I think anyone right now, if you're a nostalgic and a TNA fan who's been watching the product from its inception, will say yes, let's go. And if I wished Kurt Angle was in much more physical health, more, he could probably still do it, a special guest enforcer. I would love to see Kirk Angle as a special guest enforcer. This Bound for Glory, I think is going to be Hasim. I think it's going to be very special. For me, not for me personally. What I've been saying for a while, since the beginning of January, I think TNA is going to get purchased by the WWE. I have a funny feeling there. I have no insights. I have no. I'm not pretending to be Dave Meltzer. I'm not asking for $14.99. It's just a lot of verbiage, a lot of communication back and forth between TNA and WWE and TKO, Anthem. It kind of feels like that might be the end. TNA is going to stick around as TNA, but I think it's going to be under the WWE umbrella. So that's why I say this is a Bound for Glory that might be their true final TNA Bound for Glory on their own, independent with Anthem. Remember, Anthem owns Invicta FC. Why do I keep bringing Invicta FC? Because TKO Endeavor owns the UFC. You want to now bring that market where you now bring and have it like kind of a female minor league system for MMA for UFC under the umbrella, and you have now the WWE NXT with TNA, more wrestling. And I don't think they'll put the WWE folks right away to start taking over and overseeing. And there might be some overseers of the WWE TNA product if that were to happen. But I think they'll leave pretty much all the producers like Gail Kim, Tommy Dreamer, and others to continue running TNA. That's just my opinion. Again, take it for a major grain of salt. It's just my opinion, my thoughts. It just seems like it because I remember in the beginning of the year when all this came to why I opened up an eyebrow. It wasn't just because of the Jordan Grace coming out at the Rumble. It was when they were going to start calling their pay-per-views PLEs. If you remember that article, if you remember that, they were saying it was going to be called PLEs. And I go, wait a minute, that's the WWE verbiage. They were using a lot of WWE verbiages. And I say, wait a minute, there. And then Jordan Grace, appears on the Royal Rumble. Although we've seen that in the past, we saw Mickey James with the Knockouts title 2 years while Vince was in charge. So they have had that one-off, but then it started getting more traction. Now we saw Jordan Grace. Then Jordan Grace featured on a PLE, also wrestling challenging for the NXT Women's title. And now we see all the different collaboration, different title matches. Joe Hendry, Zachary Wentz. By the way, Zachary Wentz and Wesley, very underrated match that doesn't get talked about. I'll put that match over the jungle gymnastics that Ricochet and Ospreay did. I didn't watch the Ricochet Ospreay. I'm looking by the highlights on Twitter. Give me the Zachary Wentz and Wesley match. I watched that over and over. I already watched it twice. I could watch it a third or fourth time. That was a hardcore match, and it didn't need all the flips and flops. They did their spots, but it wasn't heavy laden where it was like, come on. In a street fight, I'm gonna start doing hand spins and all this stuff in a fight. It is what it is. What's going on, Daniel Barrow Sports Highlight? Maybe I sound a little negative on All Elite Wrestling, but it is what it is. We got a couple minutes here. We'll find out what direction TNA is going in tonight. If it's the best stuff, or we're gonna see last night's recording from Nashville. Good job on TNA. I really appreciate what they're doing. It must be commended that they are going to donate every dollar of the tickets to the victims in South Carolina. Great job. Great job. They get it. They know what they're doing, and you got to stay in behind that and support. When you see things like that from a wrestling company and just a little increment, that's awesome. That is awesome. That's what TNA gets it. That's why they get it. They continue to grow. They continue to touch the hearts. And look, a lot of wrestling companies do a lot of good stuff, and I got to put, as much as the crap I was giving AEW in a few seconds ago, I got to give them a lot of credit when it comes to things that happen outside of the wrestling business. Chris Jericho, he's right now in AEW. He waves that flag. Chris Jericho is very charitable, very, very, very generous when it comes to wrestlers or anything in the community with financial, with GoFundMe. He's one of the first performers to always say yes and donate. So I got to give credit where credit is due. I got to give Chris Jericho a lot of props and a lot of his flowers for that. He's not looking for it. He doesn't look for the spotlight or the pat on the back, but he does it out of the goodness of the heart. But it's good when other people put you over, and I definitely wanted to say that about Chris Jericho. Awesome dude on that. And of course, we got about another minute to go. Now for Bad Blood, I cannot wait this weekend. We definitely might do a review again. If this changes into a best stuff, we'll change it into a review of Bad Blood. We'll go through the card. I'll give you my thoughts, my opinions on the match. If I had creative booking control, how would I go? But again, this is right now TNA, and we're gonna find out in a minute what direction TNA is going in. If it's a best of Bound for Glory. Now, speaking of Bound for Glory, we got Joe Hendry is going to take on Nick Nemeth. Do you think TNA pulls the trigger on allowing Joe Hendry or providing Joe Hendry an opportunity to become the face of the company, TNA World Champion? Now, that's going to limit Joe Hendry from making all those independent runs, working in the independent circuit, although they do allow that. But when you're the world champion, you kind of have to scale back a little bit because you're going to be a lot of TV tapings with TNA. Of course, maybe you will see him on NXT with the gold. Don't know if you're going to see him in other companies, although you do see a lot of Ortiz in House of Glory. He is the House of Glory World Champion. We saw Joe Henry this weekend had a great job there in New York City. He was in House of Glory in New York as well, and I was pretty sure I didn't catch it. I missed it. I wanted to take a look at that, but I got preoccupied Sunday to watch Joe Henry on a House of Glory, and I missed it. I hope that it was a good program, a good showing for him there. So there we go. Originally scheduled was canceled due to the catastrophe of Hurricane Helene. They're showing that the graphic is up. Our thoughts and prayers are out to everyone affected, of course, in this channel sentiment as well. And I'm in Central Florida, so we dodged a bullet. We were blessed by the hand of God that it did not make a turn to the right and go into Central Florida. If that mess there, my goodness, I've got friends and family already, in the west coast of Florida. They got a lot of water and flood. Here, myself, nothing, thank God, nothing to complain. Nothing, just some branches fall here from time to time. But it's the best of Bound for Glory. All right, so they're going to do the best of, so they're not going to do the recordings from last night. And, of course, our thoughts with those people. So we were lucky, and now there's another system out there threatening the East Coast of the United States. So, again, brace yourself. This is hurricane season. I mean, this is something, but my goodness, that kind of catastrophe, Hurricane 4, don't wish it on any country, nobody. I mean, my goodness, Lord have mercy on us. All right, so we're going to get TNA, the best of Bound for Glory. So let's turn this into a review of or prediction show of Bad Blood. What do you guys think? Or do is there any other topics they want to talk about TNA? We could do a little both. I definitely want to get into Bad Blood. We know that Bound for Glory, Speedball's title is going to be on the line. I don't know who is his number one contender. I know Speedball is a great wrestler. I can't wait to see him take on Javon Evans. If they ever have that cross promotion between, if Speedball does make an NXT appearance, Javon Evans and Speedball Bailey will be a great one. Wesley and Mike Speedball Bailey will be another one. Excellent matchup. I think those two guys will put on a show. Definitely would like to see that. And definitely want that. So with that said, let's go ahead right into this. What's your thoughts? We'll do a little news and notes before we get into the Bad Blood. What's your thought of seeing Shelton Benjamin on? I woke up this morning. I put on Twitter and I saw Benjamin showed up in a suit. I had that MVP. And now I see why there was pushing a narrative on the WWE not signing the African American wrestlers or not pushing them in the top of the card. I also saw that now MVP is recruiting Mercedes Moné. So they're putting a all African American, Black American group. Cool. That's cool. Nana, that's a. But the Hurt Business has been 4 years now that they've been on top. I don't know if it's gonna work. I hope so. Good luck on that. I hope if Robbie Lashley's a hell of a talent. Benjamin, you know who he is. He's a hell of a wrestler. MVP's a hell of a mouthpiece. They just got to add talent. Put over those young talent, like a Will Hobbs. Do something with, if you're going to bring, Sean Taylor. And don't have to make it over bloated, but you could do those younger talents there that could use that push in that new Hurt Business. So I hope they do that good job there in All Elite Wrestling because Bobby Lashley's going to elevate that group immediately to the top of the All Elite Wrestling card. It's just how long they're going to keep them up in that top of the card as main eventers or big time deal. So that I can't wait to see how they'll book that. Hopefully they don't do shot foot booking or hot foot booking like they call it. I hope they really book them really well, strong group, and they create havoc there in competition for WWE. All right, so we got Bad Blood this weekend. Now, according to reports, the opening contest is supposed to be the Hell in a Cell match, Drew McIntyre and Punk. I know people like to go, they say how do you start the show also dictates the whole tempo of the programming. You're putting your big gimmick match first. understand it. I agree I'm 80% agreeing with that it should be the first matchup if especially because you have a Roman Reigns in the main event teaming up with Cody Rhodes, who's your undisputed world champion. You always want to put your world champion at the main event, no matter who it was. You know, when Roman was holding the title, even whenever he was in a tag, he always was the closer, the main event. And he was and because he had the undisputed world champion, no matter what, even if it was on a 6-man or a tag match, he was there. He was part of the main event because the champion was on. So I kind of agree with that. The only thing that takes away, it's a gimmick match, or it's a blood feud. The Premier League is called Bad Blood. You're gonna see bleeding. You're gonna see violence. You're gonna see chaos, and you're gonna see it in the Hell in a Cell. I think it's a good thing because it's gonna let them tell a story. It's gonna let them go as long as Punk and Drew wants to go first. If they want to give us a 40-minute chaotic war in that cage, I think we're not going to be opposed to it. You could take 5 to 10 minutes from certain matches and to make up for that time, and I think it's okay with that. You also got a shark cage match coming up in there as well, where you're going to have Dominic in the cage. I don't know if they're going to suspend them up high. They're just probably going to keep them locked in on the ramp. I guess so. After watching the documentary with McMahon, I don't think they're going to elevate him or suspend him up. So yeah, I kind of talked myself out of that one. But who I like winning here between Punk and Drew McIntyre? Punk is extremely popular right now. Everyone's thinking Punk. He kind of challenged or teased a opportunity to run at Gunther's world title if Gunther survives on Monday against Sami Zayn. Punk, some folks say he won't need a world title. We'll love to see how Gunther, which he keeps passing all the challenges with flying colors, will do with a CM Punk in the ring. But I think everyone wants to see how Punk or how Gunther will do on the microphone with a CM Punk. That one is going, if Gunther wants to tap into that heelish side even more, if he goes there about his past issues in other companies, that'll be interesting if they go that route. I think Punk wins this. I'm 50-50 on this with Punk winning because I think Drew is gonna be off TV for a little bit, not a lot. Think he's gonna do it. Probably he's doing something. I haven't heard anything that he's gonna do more movie roles, but he signed with an agent, so I don't know if he's gonna do maybe some more film, some feature movies or something, acting role. I don't know if that's true or not, but he's been signed. He's got the Hollywood bug a little bit. After the Killer Game, I could see Punk winning and seeing Drew returning at the Rumble. Take a couple time off at the Rumble. Especially with Monday, with Raw now going to 2 hours. That's a big plus here. This is a big factor here. Doesn't mean that they're not going to be part of the WWE. They don't got nothing from creative. No, you're gonna wrap up some stories for the remainder of the year and heat up certain people for the remainder of the year. And they're going to take some, and maybe Drew is one of those guys that takes some TV time off and just bring them back at the Rumble after that feud with Punk. I think Punk wins this. Although I've seen reports of other places where, and I've been calling about this since Clash of the Castle. We'll love to see Drew McIntyre add Gallus to his group, and just have him have a group where Gallus comes to the main roster. They're already heels. They come out and they just wallop Punk. He's all alone. He has no one to help him. Maybe AJ comes out of sympathy with, and we see AJ return, throw in the towel and cover his man. And then, Drew McIntyre leaves with so much heat. And you could easily also have Punk off for a couple weeks until he's recovering from his wounds and injuries, returns back at Survivor Series. You could do that as well. So that's, if I had to create a pencil, which way would I go? Either way, this is what's the fun part of the WWE right now. The way they're booking, it's unpredictable. If it's back then, and one thing about Vince, it was predictable with Vince McMahon. You kind of knew what direction they were going, what feuds were next and how they were going to tend to go that way. Which sometimes predictability is not a bad thing because you want to see it unfold for you in front of your face. And when you see it unfold, you go, uh-huh, I like it. Sometimes a little bit of unpredictability is there. So it is what it is. So the next match, you got Nia Jax taking on Bayley. This is a rematch match. We've seen Nia Jax from SummerSlam. This is going to be fun with Tiffany Stratton with the briefcase. I don't know if Tiffany Stratton is going to pull the trigger. They're slowly building Tiffany Stratton as a babyface pretty soon. The way Nia Jax continue to grab her through the face, little like bullyish, being a mean woman to her, where does Tiffany Stratton finally snaps, say enough? It's going to be a really crazy or a different type of cash-in because you're despising Nia. Nia Jax gets a lot of heat, rightfully so, as a heel that she is, where Tiffany Stratton, even though she's doing the way she's going to backstab her friend, that's not babyface quality. But boy, she's going to turn babyface when she does that. The crowd is going to get behind her. I think you save that moment for a WrestleMania or a Rumble. I don't know if you do it this soon and a Bad Blood. I don't know. Maybe WWE wants to keep us on our toes when they do it. I don't know when they'll do it because you don't want it to be predictable like Damian Priest. People were complaining and they waited. And to me, I thought when Damian cashed in was a perfect opportunity. Some people were surprised about Drew McIntyre, although some didn't. They were like, oh, that's it already? So I like the unpredictability of Tiffany Stratton with that briefcase. Could that be on Saturday night's main event? We could see a Tiffany Stratton finally snaps. And I, at the end of the day, I think Bayley does not win the women's title back. I think Nia Jax continues to reign and win and continues to move on. I think Bayley falls short. I think Tiffany will be at ringside. I think she'll make her appearance. Don't know if Naomi will show up. Let me ask this, and let me put that in your head. Do you see in any possibility where Bayley shows up, Naomi comes to help, and Naomi turns? And she turns a heel. She had enough. Being all nice, trying to help her put her friends over. Just put it this way, in creative, they will go where her promo, her next, not this Friday, the upcoming Friday, you get Naomi on. And Naomi is cutting a promo where she's saying, I'm tired of putting over my so-called friends. Other folk, some of my friends are making more money than me. Some of my friends get world title opportunities. I'm always second fiddle. You know what? I'm going for my own. It's on me. I'm on my own. I'm gonna do this my way. Or something along those lines. Just where she could blur some realism in her life into the promo why she turned on her friend Bayley. She had it. She's now a lone wolf, or she's willing to do things alone because she always put the better detriment of everyone else, but not her. Boy, I think you get some people's sympathy, but you also she'll get more people behind her because she's the heel that she's got a purpose now. She's getting tired of being screwed. She sees other people continue to leapfrog over her while she continues to stay in the mid card or in the mid title card where people want to see her, people want to cheer her. Naomi has a great following. I thought, her job at TNA as knockout champion, her 2-time reign, she was great. We saw another side of Trinity Fatu. I wish she would have went back as Trinity. Maybe they'll change her. No, Naomi, and as a heel, she's Trinity. I would love that. She's just, no, I don't want to be called Naomi. That's something from the past. I'm Trinity. I'm going to believe in myself. The same way when I walked out the door, I followed the wrong person out the door. Throw a little realism. People get the oohs and ahs in a promo, like, oh. But you know what? I discovered myself. I discovered I am Trinity. I'm Trinity Fatu, and now here we go. Talk to me, people. How do you think that will sound if she comes out with a realism like that and she just talks from her heart and say she just done? See, that Naomi persona is going to be nothing but Brutus Clay and the Funkadets. No, I am Trinity Fatu, and now I am coming for that women's world title. family bloodline or no bloodline, I'm coming for you. My goodness, just think about her. I'm paraphrasing. They'll button that up. They're the writers. They're the promo art. If they could hit those strings with some realism, I think the crowd would eat it up with a biscuit. Would eat it up with a biscuit. So I think I could see Naomi turning on Bailey on that as well. Damian Priest versus Finn Balor. Now here's one thing that continues to puzzle my mind. There's a numbers game. We see on Monday Night Raw where you see Judgment Day continues to pound on Damian Priest, the numbers game. He's being outnumbered. He's being outworked. I don't know how they'll go with this match with Damian versus Finn. If whoever wins that, is that the end of that? Because I still think they probably have some legs here. Remember, they got to start building up for Survivor Series War Games in groups. I don't know who's going to be an ally for Damian Priest. He doesn't really have any friends. You gotta kind of have something where your enemy of my enemy is your friend. I don't know if they have that yet. Maybe within the weeks to come, because you still got Crown Jewel. You still got about 4 to 5 weeks of build up before the War Games. But in between, you're sandwiched with Crown Jewel. So it's going to be interesting. Although WWE is not afraid of separating things. Look, this Monday Night Raw didn't feel like a go-home show. It felt like a separate entities where sprinkling a couple of go-home show, a couple of stuff for Bad Blood, but it was mostly felt like a separate show. Could they do that? Absolutely. I think I liked for winning this match between Damian Priest and Finn Balor. I think Finn wins this. Damian was world champion. I think we all like the Damian Priest's gimmick, the Terra Twins gimmick. I like all that stuff. I think Finn needs this victory. I think Finn gets it, but he's gonna get it by crook, where he's gonna the numbers game again. Some of us might roll our eyes with it, but I think Damian's going to continue to get allies. You know what? I'm not alone. I don't know if that's going to lead maybe a Bad Bunny becoming an ally. That's one. You still need more. I don't know, Dragon Lee. I just don't want to see Cruz and Del Toro. I don't want Damian to be thinking that you're making him part of an LWO group or taking over an LWO group, because I don't think the LWO is hitting on all cylinders, personally. So I'm going to say maybe it's Jey Uso that could help out. You'd be seeing they have a cordial friendship, but they're still short men. There's still a couple men short, so we'll see. We'll see on that. I think I like Finn Balor winning, where I think it continues this, where Damian's going to need allies. He's going to need a group. He's going to need some people to watch his back, especially, and I think the payoff is going to be in the War Games Survivor Series matchup. That's my opinion on that there. I don't know how they'll go with that. We'll see. Speaking of that, we're still talking about the Judgment Day. In the Shark Tank will be Dominic Mysterio. You got Rhea Ripley trying to get her title back from Liv Morgan. Now, this is a feud, my goodness, where Liv Morgan has been on fire, talking about stealing your woman, stealing your group, your world title, taking everything from Rhea Ripley. And on the Liv Revenge Tour, look, it's 2024. We got about 90 days, under 90 days before the year ends, the year, and she's ending the year on a full revenge. Now, I know those that are joining us for the first, tuning in for TNA, they're doing the best of Bound for Glory. So we're doing a Bad Blood review. So we changed it to the Bad Blood review. So come on in. We're reviewing that or prediction show, not review, because it hasn't happened. So let me correct myself. So we're giving our predictions, and if I had the creative pencil, and we're talking about Liv and Rhea Ripley, I think this match where that Dominic is in the Shark Tank, wouldn't be surprised, and it has been going around circulating in the internet. Raquel Rodriguez. I think Raquel Rodriguez comes out, helps out Liv Morgan. At first, she's going to loosen the cage and loosen Dominic out. Dominic is going to get loose there, and then Raquel, he's going to get the referee distraction. Referee says, "You're not supposed to be here." That's when Raquel Rodriguez comes out, pop, hits Rhea. I think Liv retains her title. She'll finish off the year strong with that women's world title. I don't think she loses that maybe until the Rumble or maybe Saturday Night's Main Event. I think Saturday Night's Main Event, is key because they're going to give us a couple of title changes. I think we're going to get some title changes, especially for network television. So that's why I keep putting main event. And of course, you still got Crown Jewel and so forth. But I think that's the way they're going to go with that match. If, and Liv stand strong where you could have Rhea now being occupied, chasing and going after Raquel Rodriguez, where, and kind of keeping the title range going for Liv. Maybe a Selena Vega gets an opportunity with Liv while Raquel is finishing off with Rhea, while they're going through that matchup. So I could see that going where they could pivot and still keep that Dominic and Rhea Ripley dislike and Liv triangle still going, but you're adding more players. You're adding more pieces to it and adding more to the storyline. I could see that there. I wouldn't mind seeing that. And then eventually you get Rhea Ripley the payoff getting her title, and then you start building up and you while you're still building another WWE on the Raw side, another woman contender. Then you're like, oh, okay, for WrestleMania for Rhea Ripley. So we'll see on that how that goes. We'll talk about now the main event, the Bloodline, the versus OTC, Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes. Strange bedfellows there between those two. I know a lot of people, including this one here, myself, did not wanted to see Roman and Cody team up. I kind of don't want to see that, but they're doing it. They're taking on the Bloodline. A lot of people think there's going to be a new Bloodline member. Someone's gonna come out all shocking, all value. Pat McAfee on the McAfee show kind of implemented that Dwayne The Rock Johnson, or he didn't say his name. He said the big guy is coming back. I don't know if I don't know what Rock's schedule is. Although he doesn't have to get physical, he could come out at the end of the match when Cody and Roman kind of stare each other for the victory. They're kind of not gonna and Cody extends his hand out to shake Roman, and the music cues, and you see Dwayne just comes up on the apron and looks and gives the people eyebrow like, "Are you kidding me?" Like looking at him like, "What are you gonna shake? You're really gonna shake his hand?" And then maybe Roman Superman punches Cody, and then you go off the air like with Rock, and you're planting the seed that The Rock is like, you were about to shake hands and go with Cody, who took your world title, and then you start the dissension between Rock and Cody. I mean, Rock and Roman. And of course, it's going to lead to Cody versus The Rock match. He wants a match back with him. So there's so many different directions they could go with that. That's one direction if they're going to go that way. We also know Hikuleo has signed with the WWE, but Hikuleo has been part of the NXT internal roster. So I don't know if he's going to be part of this new flood with the Bloodline, or if he's going to be part of the new members, a new Tongan into Solo Sikoa's Bloodline, or could they get upset with Solo Sikoa for, if he takes the pin in this tag match where, Jacob Fatu turns on him and throws Solo out. It's so many levels and so many avenues that they could go. It's intriguing because you don't know which one. And whichever one they pick, we're in for it. When Paul Heyman said we're only in the third inning, this is why he means. Third inning, there's so many possibilities in a baseball game with the baseball analogy, because in the third inning, you could have a crucial part where you could blow the game wide open and you don't come up big. You ground into a double play. That means, inning is over. Or you could sacrifice fly and get another run and you're safe. You play it safe. Or you could just hit it out of the ballpark and bust the game wide open. There's so many possibilities in the third inning where the direction they go with creative, that's the analogy with it. You got to like it. You really got to like it. You really got to enjoy what WWE is doing with their storytelling and the direction they could go, because not everyone knows what direction they're going in. It's always a shock and all value. I think that's why the numbers of the viewership, the attendance, and the support WWE gets, because it's so unpredictable. It's like, oh wow, yes, it's great. They could give you the spot matches at the moment and give you a dream match, but when they tell you a story, when they tell you a reason, and then the story, what the outcomes, the possibility of major outcomes that could come out of it, and you have a pretty much a multiverse of scenarios of which way to go. I think it intrigues us. I think, listen, one time or the other, I think we all played video games. and we all like playing certain video games. Like if you were to collect certain amount of coins, you get a different outcome. If you get certain, if you're playing Metal Gear Solid, if you survive the torture, you get a different ending. You get alternate endings, and when it comes to the wrestling, it's like not a video game, but it gives you those options. If it goes a certain way in the storyline or talent wise, certain wins or losses or certain debuts, it could go a different way. Or even certain people's schedule, outside of the wrestling business with Hollywood and stuff like that, gives you another type of outcome. So this is what's great about when you do storytelling and the way they're telling the story and let it unfold. It either way, it makes sense. Even at the moment, even if at the moment it's so murky and cloudy, but then when the sun appears, like, you know what, that story now it makes sense why certain things happen and why certain things went away. Sometimes it doesn't hit. Sometimes the story's like, they should have went this way. And a case in point is they should have let Roman break Hulk Hogan's record, because this weekend we all should be gearing up for Cody's run as the world champion. Cody should be winning his world title in Atlanta this Saturday. We should all, Roman is the longest reigning modern day, postmodern WrestleMania champion. That's what had been the storyline going in. And could Cody win this in Atlanta, where his dad and his family wrestled in the Omni, and they battleground. They put Atlanta and the wrestling on the map, in wrestling in Atlanta on the map here. That would have been a hell of a storyline. The merchandise, the crowd, you could have easily put it there in the dome with 47,000. I don't know if they could have with the college football game on Saturday, but my point is they could have filled the place up. That would have been a rabid scene. But they wanted Cody. They cried. LaGreca cried, and everyone caved, and WWE pivot. But again, not to go revisionist history, just think about, those are what ifs. That's a what if scenario. That's a what if scenario if they would have waited. Just think about it. Then now you're going into Netflix with your new undisputed world champion, Cody Rhodes, who just won it. Survivor Series, he's gonna get a group of people and say, we're tired of the freaking bloodline. We got you. We're gonna beat them up. And they will get their butts kicked on the War Games with Cody Rhodes leading the way. You're going into Netflix, and he's the face. You can move him there. It would have been so much good nostalgic feeling. But again, it's still doing good business. Doesn't mean what they're doing now isn't bad either. It's really good. But just think of the what ifs. Just think of that what if, but then you would have not really gotten the impact of a Jacob Fatu. There's so many different things there. So it's a lot of what ifs. It's the different scenarios of multiverse of reality that I like to talk about on the wrestling when it comes to wrestling. So other than that, that's where we ask you to join me for Bad Blood. Definitely, I'm gonna have the Heal the Ring crew. I thought Canary and Terrence were gonna join me on the TNA broadcast, but I guess they didn't. I would have liked to got their opinion on the Bad Blood as well, to review or give me their predictions on it. But they'll be on for that. They'll definitely do the premium live event. And we'll definitely talk about that. We'll definitely, any other news and notes that you guys heard or rumors from the wrestling world, we'll definitely love to hear about it. We did not see the Motor City Machine Guns make their debut at NXT on the CW this past week. I think it was a safe thing to do, especially when you only have 2 hours of wrestling and that's your first time being on live TV and where they're going to cut you off at 10 o'clock, and you want to give those matches that they gave us time to breathe. You wanted the Julia Roxanne match, that time to breathe. You did get a returning Cora Jade. I think, they didn't, and I kind of felt, I'm going to be totally honest with you, I kind of felt they rushed Jade and Bianca with Kalani they kind of felt rushed. I hate to say that, but it felt a little rushed. We're gonna see them next week on a 6-woman tag match. Great. You're also gonna see the tag team champions, Axiom and Nathan Frazier, defending their titles against A-Town Down. I think that's where we'll see this Motor City Machine Guns. I think we'll see the Motor City Machine Guns there. Definitely. That's where we're going with that. And of course, we'll see. I heard yesterday, so Ruka was on Nashville, part of the TNA, teaming up with Jordan Grace. I thought we were going to see that tonight. I like the collaboration between NXT TNA. They asked Shawn Michaels about a joint pay-per-view, a joint PLE with TNA. Says anything is possible. He loves his working relationship with TNA. He doesn't know how long it's going to last, if it's long standing, which I think it is. I think they're just doing that to people to stay tuned, because if you know they're going to be working every week, or they're going to be working off and on, you're going to be like, it becomes furniture. You get used to it. You don't appreciate it much when you don't see the different wrestlers there. So they want to keep it fresh. They want to keep it, something nostalgic. So they'll say, I don't know how long it's going to last. You use that kind of verbiage where everyone's interested. I kind of want to see, I kind of would have loved them to would have done that at the end of the year, but they got final resolution for TNA in Atlanta in December. NXT normally finishes off after deadline. They do one more NXT taping, or they do a double taping for the remainder of the year until they go to New Year's Evil. So just so and personally, I would like for them to do Worlds Collide. Maybe they do that in the beginning, in January, beginning of the year. Worlds Collide, TNA versus NXT. You have kind of a different tournament. You want to, you could honor Dusty was in TNA. Yeah, Dusty Rhodes. You could do a Dusty Rhodes Memorial Tournament for, in between TNA and NXT for the men, for the women. You could pick another Mickey James Cup. I think Mickey James is going to the Hall of Fame next year in 2025. I think WWE is going to induct her in. So you do a Mickey James Cup for the best female wrestler, because Mickey James, WWE World Champion, a TNA Knockouts, an NWA World Champion, a decorative singles women's champion. You make a tournament for her. There, we had a Sherry Martel on The Reality of Wrestling this week. And for Booker T School, why not? You have a Worlds Collide. You put the best of the best there. You could do it with different for the North American, you could do with both. You could do two different sets of tournaments for the women and men, and you could, or just put some dream matches there and call it Where the Worlds Collide, and you go forward. I think everyone would love to see that. I think the possibility Obafemi versus Moose would be one of those that we would like to see. My goodness, Sean Spears versus Brian Myers or Eddie Edwards. That's another matchup. You could put them in a tag team. Mike, you could really get going. Trick Williams, just take your choice. With Nick against Nick Nemeth, if you want to go that route. I mean, there's so many fantasy bookings. If they were to do a collaborative joint PLE between both companies, there, you definitely you could do a women's elimination match with two TNA tag teams versus two WWE NXT tag teams, but in a fatal 4-way elimination tag match. You could definitely put a combination of women. Spitfire, of course, your Knockouts World Champion. You could put, Tasha Steele and Alicia Edwards on one side. You could just do any type of combinations versus two NXT tag teams that they have there. Fatal Influence. So many different things you could do, and it's interesting. What a time to be a wrestling fan. It's a great time to be a wrestling fan because everything is hitting. Not just WWE, not just NXT, not just TNA, House of Glory, Reality of Wrestling, OVW continues to do some great stuff. They're collecting a canned goods drive. They're having a food canned good drive for the victims, and they're going to ship it and send it, and they're doing their part. So that's great to see that they're doing their part as well and participating, and they continue to grow. I love it. Wow. No show tonight, Jedi Warrior. No, what? I thought TNA is the best stuff, guys. I'm sorry, Mario. I didn't know. I did not know that they were going to do it, so I kind of reviewed or previewed Bad Blood. It's not a show tonight. No, there's no show tonight. Yeah, I know. It's the best of Bound for Glory, so I'm not going to stay on too long. No need to stay the full 2 hours while the best stuff is on. I got a couple more minutes. It's open up to anything wrestling-wise. You throw your comments in the chat. Of course, like I'd always highlight everyone, Mario and Jedi Warrior, Hassan. I definitely highlight everyone. Everyone has a voice. We're talking right now a little fantasy booking, and what we like to see, personally, we would like to see a Worlds Collide between TNA and NXT, doing on a premium live event on a big stage. I think they could fill up a 9,000 seat arena. Definitely would love to see that there. Mario, here we go. This is something. Do you see the Tonga Twins this Saturday? A lot of people want them on NXT, but let me give you an insight. They were in the Performance Center. They have had tryouts. They have been plenty of times in the Performance Center the Tonga Twins. I don't know if they signed up. I don't know if they officially signed for the WWE with a contract. Normally, if they were, they would have been on a NXT house show. So I think they had a couple of tryouts. I don't know if anything is official with the Tonga Twins in NXT. I would love to see them there. Definitely, maybe especially if they want to revamp the tag team for the women. Especially we were talking about it earlier with a collaboration on a Worlds Collide. Tonga Twins definitely, especially with Hikuleo now being part of the NXT roster, supposedly not part of the main roster. They're gonna bring them to the NXT world. There, you bring them with you have a Tongan invasion. You have Ava still your general manager, where you could still extend the bloodline story kind of to the NXT level, where I could trust the creative with Sean Bloom, Taylor, and Regal, and all the great Norman Small, all the great coaches and creative team in NXT to give us something with that. So yes, no show till the pay-per-view. They will next week, Jedi Warrior. They will be giving what they recorded last night. They recorded last night some tapings. They had 12 hours of 12 hours. He said, oh, they had double tapings last night on TNA, and they had it. And tonight they're having double taping. Our own Heather, Heather's there herself. She said she was going to be there, so I know she's enjoying herself. Yes. And another news: Elimination Chamber has found a home where they are going to host it this year, 2025. We saw it was in Australia, Perth, Australia, where we got up at 4 a.m. This year, it will be in United Kingdom. United Kingdom will be hosting Elimination Chamber, so that will be great to see. It's going to be an early, and personally, I'm getting used to these early afternoons. I love when they do the early afternoon overseas pre-LEs. I love it. I get it because to me, especially it's Saturday, you get to do the premium live event either at 1 o'clock or early, and then you got the evening. You want to watch you want to watch UFC, or you want to do something. You want to still go out on a Saturday night. You could still do it because the pay-per-view or the PLE happened. I kind of like it there. Yes, indeed. Oh, you missed it, Delvin. You missed it. I went on the whole thing there. I reviewed a little bit of it. I don't know if you heard it. I said a little earlier. You could rewind it on the video where I gave a whole scenario about Naomi turning heel. At Bad Blood. I definitely went on that, Delvin. You just missed that. I'll rehash it again. I have no problem doing that. Where Tiffany comes out, where she gets from Naomi, rushed off or shoot away like the heel, like the chicken crap heel that she is. Then Naomi causes her to lose that, and you're like, you get that shock and all value. Like what? The following Friday night SmackDown, you have Naomi on comment. You have Naomi open up a promo, or you could do it on digital. But I think it'll be more on a live crowd. I think the shock and all value, if she goes in front of a live audience and cut a promo on her mission statement, why Trinity, why Naomi, why? Where I would say where she's like, I'm tired of being screwed over, being a nice one, helping everyone else get elevated. All my friends uses me to get elevated in their careers, either to make more money, to get more opportunities, and more doors are open, and I'm always left second fiddle. And kind of say that along those resonance. I had to leave here. Yes, I took some bad advice. I left and I followed someone. Even, you know what? Even if you get this, oh, she really said that. Whoa, that it resonates where she comes out with a little bit of some truth, and said I had to go and rediscover myself. I am not Naomi. I am Trinity Fatu. I am Trinity, or just Trinity. I'm Trinity. I had to recognize myself. I'm Trinity, and I know that I banked on myself on my own after everyone that gave me wrong advice and whatever the case is, and I am not getting put over. Naomi gets pulled over, not Trinity. And I don't care what I got to do. I was a 2-time world champion in TNA as Trinity, and I'm going to be a champion. I'm going to win that women's title division. Women's title. Boom. Something along those lines. And that's on, but she has to turn on Bailey And you could still and you know what, Trinity or Naomi, I would say Trinity. I would go with Trinity. I would drop the Naomi. I'm not a Funkadelic. That was in my Naomi was in the past. This I am Trinity. And my goodness, you're up and running with Trinity. She's back to. She doesn't really have to be healed. She's just fed up, and nothing's scoring as a woman who's fed up. When a woman's fed up, it's yeah. They move mountains, and she's fed up of losing. She's fed up of getting pushed over. I think that resonates. Where her and she's just and my goodness, what a change of character and attitude for Trinity because she's fed up. You don't tell me the crowd is going to eat that up, Delvin. What do you think? You think you? I mean, not it makes better. Like, I'm gonna turn heel and I hate you. I will love for her the reason, giving her reasons. She's tired, fed up, being the nice smiling, always smiling. You and they could even show where you could see Jade and Bianca winning tag team gold. Neither one of you asked me to be your tag team partner to capture gold. Um, she could bring them along the route along as well. Part of the, like putting them in the promo. You didn't. You had an opportunity for a 6 woman and you took Kalani. You didn't even ask me. Or walking out with Sasha Banks. Without Trinity. I was too nice, and I let and you. I mean, Naomi losing because I was too nice to you, Bailey, and you pinned me. It's just because you're my friend, and I'm thinking friendship. This is not friendship. This is business. This is some. This is I gotta believe in myself. At the end of the day, no one is there but me. Something along those lines. I think that hits. I think it hits. I think it hits. I definitely would like to see that going forward with her. And yeah, I think that's a good one if Naomi turns heel. Absolutely on that. So okay, let's see what else is around before we say goodnight. Let's see. I'm looking. I'm refreshed if I see any other dirts. What's your thoughts of the Hurt Business being signed in or being revamped in AEW? Listen, I'm glad that the Hurt Business is going to get an opportunity to get TV time in AEW, but here's the problem. You're bringing all ex-WWE wrestlers, and you're bringing gimmicks, recycled gimmicks, where you wanted to say you were the alternative. This is where where AEW people, when you get the tribalism or the attacks, where the AEW fan base takes shots at the WWE fans because we're better, we do this different, we're alternative. But meanwhile, you're recycling every gimmick. Every gimmick from the WWE, your gimmick, yeah, and even Hassan, even the Yes movement. There's a cease and desist with Bryan Danielson. WWE has sent a cease and dismiss. That is WWE property. He cannot do the Yes, and he's still doing it. So that's going to be a problem, legal problem. I hope not. You know what? At this point, if I'm WWE, don't be petty. If he wants to use that, let him use that. He got it over. I know that Yes movement is part of WWE history. That's just another gimmick that's being recycled in AEW, which is it's just people sticking their hands up in the air and saying yes. Then you have to sue the Islanders because they do that every time the Islanders score a goal. So that to me, I find that a little petty. Let it go. But my point is, they're recycling all the gimmicks, even from Mansoor and Mansoor. The Maximum Male Model gimmick that's being recycled in All Elite Wrestling. So is he really creative or is just a cop? To me, I've said it from the beginning, 5 years in its inception, when Cody crushed the Triple H throne, and when I saw that first All In show, and I saw how when Dynamite started, I said this is WCW copy and paste. And I know people are gonna say you're bugging. I've been saying that. My sons are 26 and 27. They're like AEW. They get kind of rebel not watching WWE because of that comment I mentioned to them. Because when I saw it, I said, all right, I was open minded. Let's watch AEW. Jericho's here. I liked the Pinnacle. And then I saw some of the stuff, some of the gimmicks and stuff, and then I said, this is WCW copy and paste. And now, case in point, you got the Costco guys now sign, and they're going to be part of AEW to do a match. Doesn't that reek of David Arquette? Doesn't that reek of Jay Leno? Doesn't that? And I know, listen, WWE uses celebrities. Yes, they do use celebrities. They're getting Sexy Red this Tuesday on NXT. Bad Bunny, but they wrestled. the Costco guys, they're not. They're just YouTubers that did. They just have a catchphrase on a YouTube, on going to Costco's, eating the free samples. I mean, if you want me, I could go to my local Sam's and Costco's and do the same thing. I mean, it's a lot of WCW copy and paste with them, and then their gimmicks. And it's great. Look, Robbie Lashley's gonna do good again. Shelton Benjamin, he's just a class act. Maybe they'll bring some professionalism into that locker room, and maybe we get some instant locker room leaders in that in there with I asked this question: how long before Jericho and MVP get into their faces again? Remember, they weren't in the same company. They were separated by hotel security in a hotel in Dallas. These guys do not like each other. How long before that combustible explosion occurs between those two that don't like each other? They already have a lot of different negativity one another. Just imagine. I hope not. I hope not. I hope I hope they become locker room leaders, and they help the company grow from the locker room standpoint, where wrestlers could be more professional. You don't have to hear a lot of drama, none of that bit breaker drama in the background with the women and all that other stuff. None of that jealousy. But man, you keep bringing these ex WWE guys in there, and you're not pushing, the AEW hardcore talented wrestlers that was built there. Is kind of an issue. You had. Tell me where this makes sense, where Darby Allin, who's the number one contender, decides to give it to, or have a match and give it to Moxie. Now, so it's Moxie, an ex-WWE wrestler, which you could say now, he's more. I kind of see Moxie more of an AEW wrestler, believe it or not, than WWE with Dean Ambrose. Yeah, once upon a time, but I kind of see him more of that. But against Daniel Bryan, that's your main storyline with two ex-WWE guys. You got other than Hairspray, who put on a wonderful Circus Soleil match with Ricochet. That's what they wanted. That was the big want and love, that they wanted Ricochet to go to AEW so they could have that kind of jumble gymnastics, which is nice for people who like it. I can't wait for in 3 more years they'll be able to compete in the Olympics. And that's what you got. They rushed it. They did their moves. People were booing it because they had a double disqualification. I heard from Busted Open. I mean, they have issues, but I hope that these guys fix it. You gotta, but here's the thing: how much more you're gonna go with these elderly wrestlers? You got Adam Copeland, 52 years old. Christian, who's 55. Didn't Christian have a title? Didn't Christian win a Money in the Bank contract that he could wrestle at any time? Didn't he win like a casino title eliminator gauntlet match that he had an opportunity? What happened to that? There's so many holes so many unfinished holes and stuff that makes you like, oh yeah, they don't, so he's 55. You're bringing in a 47-year-old Lashley, a 42-year-old, a 44-year-old Sheldon Benjamin, MVP manager, but I'm pretty sure they're gonna put him in the ring. Who's probably is a 51-year-old, 52. You got 57, 56-year-old Jeff Jarrett. They could still go. Don't get me wrong. It's not being ageism, but they could still go. But they're older. They're older. They're over the hill. You got Dustin Rhodes. Nothing wrong with Dustin Rhodes. He's older. That's all elite right now. They're older wrestlers, older gentlemen, and they're doing is rehashing and recycling WWE content. Gimmick wise, their names are Laurel, and good for them. They got a platform to do it. Seriously, they got a platform to do it for the next 3 years, and for $170 million per year. They have a 3-year deal with an option for a 4th. That's a good deal for them. Rampage is gone. I think Rampage will be going off. Will be done. They say they're shopping it, and supposedly Fox FS1 wants to buy it. It'll be interesting to see what time of the hour they'll put that on a Friday night on FS1. That's not going to be on their Fox local affiliate or any of the local affiliates across the nation. I don't think they'll put. I don't think they'll put whatever All Elite show they sign up for on Fox on their local. I think they'll go on FS1 cable platform, which is nothing wrong with that. That's okay because Level Up is on Peacock. You got some shows. There's nothing wrong with that for All Elite Wrestling. Make money. It's about making money so they could pay those wrestlers. I don't know where that leaves Ring of Honor. Ring of Honor could really use something, a TV show somewhere. If anything, that should be put on FS1 so people could actually watch it and get into a Ring of Honor. Because right now, I don't think anybody watches that. I don't even know who's in the Ring of Honor besides Athena, to be honest with you. So that'd be interesting. But other than that, I think that's where we're gonna end tonight. I think we're good. We don't have any other. This is the best of you. I didn't know that Slamovich and I should have remembered that was the match Slamovich versus, and I did the Bound for Glory premium live event between Jordan Grace and Marsha Slamovich. I think Marsha Slamovich takes the title away from Jordan Grace this time around. I think this year, if they rehash that at Bound for Glory, or if they do that at the end in Atlanta for Final Resolution for TNA, I think Jordan Grace's title reign is coming to an end. I think she's going to be exiting at TNA, which I don't want. I kind of want to see Jordan Grace stay there, but she has run her course. I think Jordan Grace in TNA has done everything. I don't know if there's anything left really for her in TNA. There's no other knockouts on the up and coming. It's Marsha Slamovich time to be ruling the company and the division. Killer Kelly is expecting a child, so she's going to be out for about a year. So she won't be back anytime soon. You just bought Heather Reckless in. They're going to build her up. I don't think Ash by Elegance, I don't see her as the face of the company. They might give her a title run to see where it goes, but I don't think it's going to be a long title run for Ash by Elegance if she becomes Knockouts champion. And they got to bring in some fresher independent talent, women talent into TNA. After Jordan Grace leaves, they need to fill that void. I don't think she hasn't left yet, guys. But I think her course in TNA has run out. I mean, you could always revisit Tasha Steele, but Tasha Steele, then she's gonna end up becoming the Jordan Grace of the division. That's Marsha Slamovich and Tasha Steele will give you a great battle. We saw her turning on her when they lost. Alicia Edwards was injured and they lost the Knockouts tag team titles. You saw that that's a feud. So we'll see how that goes there when it comes to the Knockouts. The Knockouts division needs more singles women competitors to step up for being the face of the world title after Jordan Grace leaves. They're okay with the tag team with Spitfire. They could do some they could team up some of the ladies and some of the Knockouts. They could actually sprinkle some NXT women to wrestle in tag teams. They could beat up some of the NXT ladies, some of the ladies on Level Up, like a Kali Bright and a Kendall Gray. You saw them in San Antonio. You could sprinkle some of that there where NXT could send some of the ladies to get some reps, some bumps in TNA as a tag team, learn how to work as a tag team as well. And you could help Spitfire retain their titles. And of course, you got Rosemary and Wendy Chu. But I don't know if Wendy Chu, if they were willing to pull the trigger of Wendy Chu winning your Knockouts World title, where we saw that she didn't beat Jordan Grace, but would it be Rosemary? But then it's so many, or maybe they hold the women's Knockouts tag team. They'll probably go after Spitfire and go back and forth. So there's a lot of different things there. TNA has to sign some more women talent. I don't know how big is their budget. I don't know if they're willing to acquire. Say that 3 times. Acquire more women's talent from the independent scene. I kind of was saying that about the tag teams. Where is Subculture? Where's Subculture? I would love them to return. Are they having visa issues? Subculture was a great tag team. Their match, with ABC was a real good match. They back and forth. They had a nice rivalry. I like that. I want to see more tag teams. Definitely want to see more male tag teams and some independent wrestlers. TNA has the opportunity to bring them in, especially the ladies. There's a lot of good women in the independent. Maybe they want to give a call to Carolina Cruz. She's in CCW right now in Coastal Championship Wrestling. We saw her part of the NXT. What was it? That kind of like that Tough Enough series that they had. That's Brian Pillman Jr.'s fiance. give her an opportunity in TNA. Let her be a full-time TNA wrestler there under a Tommy Dreamer, under a Gail Kim. I think they got something where they could build her up and she could be going. I know she's in CCW right now and she's doing some independent wrestling. That's another one. You have a chance here for Emma. Maybe she needs a TNA return. I don't know if she's interested in wrestling right now. Maybe she's soured from the wrestling business. I haven't seen her take any independent matches or anything with Mapcast. Maybe I think she's kind of, and I wouldn't blame her for being disgruntled or bothered. You were part of the WWE and you get released right before they go to your home country, Australia. You were looking forward. You thought you were going to be part of the Australia card and wrestle, even if it was a dark match, and you got released. I don't blame her for being bitter or bothered. If she would ever dislike the wrestling business, period, I wouldn't blame her one bit. Or even the WWE, I wouldn't blame Emma one bit. Her on Tia Dashwood, I wouldn't blame her one bit. I could see where some of the way you get a negative distaste for the business. I get it. Or get some of these women wrestlers. She's one that's not right now active. Lacey Evans, she looks like she doesn't want to do wrestling either. She wants to be part of the OnlyFans circuit. Like Mandy Rose, who make a killer. Mandy Rose will be a great addition for TNA. She will help that women's knockouts division. And right now, look, and WWE and NXT is full with the women roster right now. You got to be someone transcendent or special if you want to be signed up right now for a female in the WWE. But the way TNA is needing knockouts, that will be a great spot for Mandy Rose. Mandy Rose coming in with Ash by Elegance, Heather Reckless. You got something. You're growing something there. You got a little bit. You got some. Okay, now you're getting some women's star power where I don't think you're gonna cost a lot of money or kill their budget too much. Definitely would like to see that. Definitely, Mandy Rose would be a one to go there. Some of these ladies that are not currently, returning to the wrestling business that's out right now. Lana, I don't know if she wants to be an in-ring competitor, but Lana will be a great addition for TNA as well. And speaking of Lana, Rusev. Now, there's been reports that Rusev is granted his release. So he is, I got to see now the AEW roster page. We saw some reports that he was granted his release, although that does not sound like AEW. They rarely grant their release of their wrestlers. They normally hold them to the full contract, and I think Miro, a.k.a. Rusev, had about another year, 2026, 27, on his contract. So I don't know what truth is that. Sometimes you got to be careful with the Twitter gossip because it's sometimes never accurate. Right now, Lisa, they're showing the best of. Right now, they're showing salute to you, Lisa. They're showing the best of Bound for Glory, and we've been just chopping it up about wrestling. We did a little bit of preview of Blood, and just chopping up a little bit of wrestling here, of different, fantasy booking and stuff, a little gossip, news, and notes. A little bit of the dirt sheet type of stuff that we see on Twitter a lot. That sometimes is true and not true. One of the ones that they were talking about was the Lucha Brothers. They had them signed with WWE. They had merchandise. WWE was rolling out merchandise or had merchandise ready to go to sell. And then now we find out that Rey Fenix is going to probably stay within another almost close to 9 months back in injury time. And then Penta came out and said, my president is in AEW right now. I don't know about the future, but currently I'm in AEW. So they pivot or like, let me relax because I'm not going to get added injury time myself. So it's interesting on that, where the way they pivot and changed on that. And we'll see how that goes. Let's see if anything else is that we could talk about real quick. No, we already know about Lashley going to the AEW, sign officially. They'll probably make his debut. I will wait for Wrestle Dream, but he's impatient. He'll probably bring it on Wednesday or probably on Collision Saturday. The owner's so impatient with it. He's like the kid who can't, the person who can't keep a secret. He wants to let everyone. He doesn't know how to build, although he said himself he doesn't like long-term booking. And that's what you can expect from a billionaire. They're used to getting things now and at the moment. They got money. They could go whatever they want. They want if the guy wants to eat the guy wants to eat a Maine lobster and he lives all the way in the Caribbean, he'll go get the Maine lobster from Maine. Billionaires don't know the word no. They get it. So they don't know how to wait. My point is, so I understand where he doesn't have the patience to wait or booking or build up because he's used to getting everything he wants at the moment. I have no problem with that. I can understand him. So let's see. Monday Night Raw is gonna be good. You got the world champion Gunther taking on Sami Zayn. I think Gunther wins. I don't see Sami retaining. Xavier Woods, I don't think he beats Jey Uso. Although reports have it now. You've seen that report with the Intercontinental title. In the next few weeks, you're looking at Dominic Mysterio becoming Intercontinental Champion. There's reports that he might be the next Jey Uso's title reigns ain't going to be long, and that it might be Dominic Mysterio. If they tell the story correctly, I could see how that could happen, but it has to be told correctly where you're like, because right now Jey is over. And you saw the feel-good moment for Jey winning that title. I don't know if they want to pull the plug on that right now. Although a lot of people thought it was going to be a short range with Braun Breaker. Braun was going to get that immediately. It's not. It looks like Braun is pivoting, going elsewhere. They saw that tease with Gunther. I don't know. I got to see how they do it. I don't know how they're going to do it. We'll see how that goes when it comes to that. And also now you got Seth Rollins back in the picture. That's why I think Drew McIntyre loses this. If he doesn't bring Gallus to help him beat the crap out of Punk, I think we see McIntyre off of TV until at least Survivor Series. Survivor Series or Rumble. I don't see I don't know. I don't see McIntyre if he wins, but we'll see. But with that said, I'm gonna end it here. TNA has been on a roll. I know that the Storms pushed him back. They're doing the best of Bound for Glory. We normally do the watch-alongs here on Thursday nights now with Canary, but they're doing a tape tonight. And, of course, hopefully they get back and we'll get to continue to do it. So thank you guys for watching with us. Appreciate it. We'll be on tomorrow night to do SmackDown. I have myself. We'll have the Heal the Ring crew. Definitely, but you never know how many of us is going to be. It's going to be 8. It could be 2. It could be 1. It could be 5. And then we have the Bad Blood. We have the Bad Blood Premium Live event. We want you to join us. Definitely. We want to hear your reaction. We want to see your oohs, your thoughts. We want the chat. We want to hear your thoughts in the chat. If you hear any dirt sheets, if you hear anything, any rumors, go ahead and put it in the chat. Even if the stream is ready to go. If you hear something tomorrow and you don't want to forget about it, and you know what, maybe Jedi could throw it in the chat, man. I'll read it. I always highlight everyone. I always make sure everybody's part of the show. I always tell you guys I acknowledge you because you guys take your time. You take your time out and you come and you share your comments and your thoughts with me. And that's that to me, I value your time. I value your time. I value your opinion, and I appreciate you guys. Definitely, I know words, the wind takes it, but actions speak louder than words. So that's why I highlight everyone's comments because you guys take your time to do it, and I appreciate it. So with that said, we're going to say good evening. We appreciate everyone here on the Heal the Ring crew, and we'll see you next time here. May the sports be with you. Peace. Have a good night, guys.
Acknowledge me.